can't impact on actual houses. We don't have the resources to build things, and it's secure, and that they can shut the door and they're not going to be assaulted or people that are couch surfing or in very dangerous boarding houses or been in care, and now the families are being reunited. Some of them are able to get their health on track, or they can go back to further study, and some of them are able to get employment ways. But without that secure home, nothing can happen. I know it's not obvious, but we are both over 21. In fact, they make terrific tenants because they've run their own home and they are very house proud and all this sort of thing, but they struggle because they don't have a rental history, they don't have regular salaries, and they can't afford $400 a week for a... So uplifting is that we've got a really good mix of volunteers. And there's just simply not enough affordable rentals at the moment. A lot of these big housing towers are being redeveloped. So all the residents in these huge towers are having to be rehoused somewhere else, which means the people on the list are having to wait. And it's a crisis at the moment. But we can't impact on actual houses. We don't have the resources to build things and to rent them for them, but we certainly can help them fit them out and make them a cosy home and something to be proud of and secure in.
I think that's absolutely fantastic, and you've just given me an idea that we can talk about after this. It's really quite interesting to have such a facility where people can actually walk around and move around in their own home and go shopping and do those things and know that they have something to come home to.
And it's secure, and that they can shut the door and they're not going to be assaulted or all their things stolen or whatever. Homelessness, I mean, a lot of people think it's people who are rough sleeping, and that's about 5% of it. But there's so many people that are couch surfing or in very dangerous boarding houses or very substandard accommodation with mold and bed bugs and all this sort of stuff. So there's a whole range of people that are categorised as homeless, and for a whole range of reasons. But as you very rightly said, the big number one reason is domestic violence. And mums and kids are at the top of the list for rehousing. But, you know, at the moment, if you're a single man, you're pretty much out of luck because there's just nothing.
And that's a bit sad, really.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's kind of discrimination, but, you know, mums and kids particularly need to have a roof over their head.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you don't have secure housing, nothing else can happen. We find that some of our clients come in who do share a little bit of their story. Some of them we say, oh, but you live on your own and you want an extra single bed. They go, I'm being reunited with my children, or my children have been in care and now the families are being reunited. Some of them are able to get their health on track, or they can go back to further study, and some of them are able to get employment. I mean, some, yes, do have very severe mental health issues, but they are being supported by social workers and what have you in other ways. But without that secure home, nothing can happen.
I was having a conversation with an organisation the other day in regards to homelessness, and they made a point that you know, when you're walking around the streets and you see people sleeping during the day,
yes, they
sleep during the day because it's not safe to sleep at night.
That's right.
So they sleep during the day, which was a real eye-opener for me. And the more I learn about, you know, homelessness and the different variations of homelessness, and it's not just for the low socio-economic. It can be from the glass ceiling down, that you can become homeless at any time. Your business can go awry. You can, you know, the rates on homes and rates and taxes and things, and the mortgages and that sort of thing can affect everyone in different ways. And some people are losing their homes. Where are they going to go?
Well, Faye, you and I are girls over 21. I know I know it's not obvious, but we are both over 21. And the fastest growing cohort in homelessness are women over 50.
Yes.
Because they're under superannuated, they're very often getting divorced, and half of something is not enough to buy something or be really secure. And some of them haven't been working for a while, and they are almost unemployable. They are in bad shape. And in fact, they make terrific tenants because they've run their own home and they are very house proud and all this sort of thing, but they struggle because they don't have a rental history, they don't have regular salaries, and they can't afford $400 a week for a one-bedroom apartment or whatever. It's very, very bad. And so it's, I feel very sorry for older women in that situation because the future is looking pretty bleak.
It just makes me feel really sad and emotional inside to understand and learn more and more about homelessness and domestic violence and people coming from different experiences in life and, that could be jail. And you don't have to be a bad person to go to jail. You could have just done something really quite simple to go to jail and come out, and then you've got a sentence for the rest of your life.
Well, some of our clients are Aboriginal, and many of them have had experience with the justice system, which is the polite way of saying that they've been incarcerated. And many of them, they've just been in the wrong place at the wrong time, or they've fought back when their husband's given them a bashing or whatever, but, for a whole range of stories. However, at RIMERN, what is so positive and what is so uplifting is that we've got a really good mix of volunteers. They all enjoy coming. They all get something out of it. They love to actually see the clients coming through and go shopping for no money. And it's really actually uplifting. So it's a way that some of our volunteers are meeting new friends, that they're feeling like they're doing something positive. And many of them love the whole environmental aspect of the fact that we are saving so much stuff from landfill. Oh, absolutely. I know. No, it's actually a very happy story from where we are.
So welcome, Paul. And here's another volunteer.
Thank you, Faye.
For RIMERN. And Paul has a really good story to share. How long have you been involved in Rotary, Paul?
Oh, about 27 years now. I first got involved when my youngest son did a Rotary-sponsored program called Model United Nations Assembly, or MUNA for short.
Right.
2 students from a school had to be allocated a country. They had to understand the culture, the religion, and the politics of that country, and then go to the assembly on the whole weekend and debate as though they were representatives of that country.
Right, okay.
And the main benefit of that program is that it teaches the children to be more tolerant of diversity in our community, because they get an appreciation of perspectives from another country.
Absolutely, and I think because Melbourne is a multicultural area, very multicultural, we tend to get a little bit I don't want to say, but we have to understand and appreciate and respect each other.
Yes.
And there's got to be a respect. It doesn't matter what culture you come from. I always say, it doesn't matter what colour your skin is. We all have a heart and we have red blood and we breathe air and we have feelings.
My observation is that the younger generations are much more blended, much more tolerant. It's almost as though ethnic, skin colour and that is almost invisible to them.
But they've grown up with it.
Yes.
Whereas the older generations haven't.
Correct.
Yes, so it does make a difference there. So, Paul, you've got a project that you're passionate about. Share a little bit about that.
The project that I'm very passionate about is building washroom toilets in Cambodia.
So explain what a washroom toilet is.
Yes. So a washroom toilet, it's very similar to an Australian outdoor dunny in that there's 2 tanks in the ground, one for processing and one for discharging clean water back. But the beauty of the washroom toilet is that we build the above ground structure much wider so that it's a safe space for women to be able to bathe themselves and their children in privacy, and for women to be able to attend to their menstrual needs in privacy. Without a washroom toilet, a family needs to go out and defecate under a tree, in a bush, in a waterway, and the challenges of that, not only is that unsafe for women, and not only is it not dignified space, but it also contaminates their water supply. Their water supply comes from the water table, pump in the ground, pump it up, and there's your drinking water and your cooking water. And if the human discharge is not appropriately processed, then it's just a repeat cycle, and we notice a number of children that just miss school because of gastro attacks. So building a washroom toilet helps to overcome that. And for the young females, it's important, as well as the washroom toilets, we do a program called Days for Girls Kits, which gives the girls a menstrual pack to enable them to be able to go to school for that 1 week a month that they might otherwise miss out.
Yeah.
And we're talking here about really, really remote communities in Cambodia. So those,
How remote is remote?
yeah, well, it's probably 3 hours out of Siem Reap.
Right.
If you take Siem Reap, it's the tourist capital.
Yeah.
And a lot of Westerners go and see Siem Reap and think, oh, this is what Cambodia looks like. Wow, how good is this?
Yeah.
But if you go, say, an hour outside of Siem Reap, people are still able to travel into Siem Reap as tourist hospitality workers. But when you get a bit further out, you're getting to places where families don't even know there's a hospital an hour away.
Really?
There's no doctors, there's no nurses. We've been into communities there and found children suffering from cerebral palsy, and the mother's got the child, irrespective of how big and how old they are, on the hip all day. And so mum's walking around trying to do stuff, and they weren't even aware of simple things like a harness or sling to carry the child in. And one of our greatest achievements, we found one of these families one year, connected them with an organisation. The next year when we went, here's mum on her motor scooter with a child in the harness on the back, and she was mobile.
Fantastic.
And they're the sorts of things that really
Do they actually learn that there's another world out there? So do they transition into that, or do they still stay in that community where they feel safe?
Not so much that they feel safe, but they don't have transportation. So some have motor scooters, but if you think about a house that's got no windows, no doors in the doorway.
So it's open?
Open. 3 generations sleeping in one bedroom. So you can imagine sleeping with
All
your
on the
children,
floor?
yes, and your parents in the one location. Some of the men get to see other parts of the world because they'll travel to Thailand for work, but for the bulk of the family, life is in that remote area.
Right, okay.
Hard to imagine.
Well, I was just going to say, I can't imagine what that would be like when we live in such an affluent society and we just take things for granted and we expect. I mean, take a look around here, all the things that have been gifted to people who will be able to take them into their homes and appreciate them.
Yes.
Whereas we just take it for granted. We can stick a painting or a print up on the wall, we can have a nice lampshade, or, you know, we can do all these things, but some people don't have that choice because, one, they don't have a home, and when they do get a home, there's so many things to consider, like your lifestyle, how to get back into the normality of a life, how to pay for all the workings of a life that you have, and then you go to a place like Cambodia and you give them something which we think is so simple, but so amazing for them, to give them dignity,
Yes.
to give them privacy, to give them hope that they can have a better life. Even though they live in a remote area, they can create something for themselves. Do you teach them to be able to build these things? Do they have? Yeah.
Yes. One of the important things for us in this process, and I should say that we're really fortunate, Rotary has a Rotary Foundation that has significant monies in investment from donations that have come from wealthy people around the world. We're able to apply for grants, and so that these washroom toilets that we build are mainly funded from those Rotary grants that enable us to go in. And part of the program that we do, when we go into a new village, we select 3 or 4 of the menfolk from the village, train them how to build these washroom toilets, and then we pay them a completed rate for each washroom toilet that's built to standard. So we don't pay them a daily rate because they've got to get the job done.
Yeah.
And we don't pay them if it's not up to standard. So we've got quality control that we do. It's very important that these washroom toilets function correctly.
Yeah.
And so these people are paid a rate, and then they're able to use that money to buy food other than rice, because rice is their basic
Standard,
food.
yeah.
And they're able to buy stuff for their children to go to school, and they're able to buy some medical supplies. And so, and the other benefit from it is if something goes wrong with the washroom toilet, we've got trained people in that village that can do the repair and maintenance.
Yeah.
So,
how important is that? And is there a program where you can teach them, I don't know what the land's like or anything like that because I've not been there, but how important is it that you teach them to actually grow their own foods?
We don't venture into that part of it.
Right.
We specialise in providing the water and sanitation support to them.
Which is a priority?
Oh, huge. Because for us, the trigger for Cambodia to be able to step forward from a developing country to a developed country is through education. And we see water and sanitation as one of the main basics that you need to get children to school, to learn, and to go to university, and then they can become leaders in the country and self-determine their own way forward.
And, you know, you can expand on that. People can't go for a job because they don't have a permanent address. You can't get a bank account. You can't do anything. You can't do anything really that you need to live.
And you eat rubbish because you haven't got a kitchen to cook in. So for our clients that we're setting them up in a kitchen with a microwave and a blender and all of these things and a fridge, they now can actually go to the supermarket and buy fruit and veggies.
Yes.
How can they do that when they don't have somewhere to cook?
Yes.
So that has health impacts too, and budgetary impacts. If you're buying takeaway or a sandwich, that's way more expensive than go and buy your groceries.
Well,
so it's tipped against them.
Yeah, look, you look at the packaged food and the takeaway food as opposed to the fresh fruit and vegetables. Every time you get fresh fruit and vegetables, and you get a lot more food than what you would out of
and no GST.
And no GST, yeah. But it's really interesting when you weigh it up. I mean, you look at the cost of food now, the vegetables and things, and then you look at the cost of packaged foods and you look what's in packaged foods. We won't go there. But it's all about quality, not quantity. And you can get vegetables and you can make a vegetable soup, which will go a lot further than buying a packet of something and just lasting one meal.
You're making me remember, we like to joke with a lot of our clients, depending on their situation when they come in, just to make them feel at ease. And I always say to them as they're leaving, okay, so did you do good shopping? And they all go, oh, yes. And I say, are you happy? And they say, oh, yes, I'm so happy. I go, okay, so when are we coming for dinner? And some of the men go, oh, like, are you serious? And then a lot of the volunteers go, yes, I'm coming and I'm coming and I'm coming. Some of them say, oh, that's okay. I go, can you cook? And they say, oh, yes. I say, so what's your best thing that you can make? And most of the men, guess what they say?
Toast.
Spaghetti bolognese. So I think we're going to have a lot of dining out on spaghetti bolognese.
But at least you can make a bulk of it and it lasts longer, and, you know, you're not constantly going out buying rubbish.
Yeah, look, we always tell them, no, look, we're just kidding. But they always feel like they've been treated with dignity. They've always been welcomed and treated like a customer. We don't do charity. They are our clients. They're our valued clients. They're treated as such. And as they leave, their whole body language is different. It's very rewarding.
They'd walk in quite sheepishly, wouldn't they?
They're never quite sure, is this going to be somewhere that's going to, you know, talk down to me or treat me like a charity case or that. And we absolutely don't. The culture at RIMERN is very much about dignity, and giving them choice. We don't rush them. We give them an hour-and-a-half appointment if it's a whole house lot, and their worker comes with them. But we say, right, Mary is the customer, you the worker, you're just here for backup. Don't dominate her. And Mary, what colour do you like? Let's start with the sofas. You know, that forms the basis of your colour scheme. So we'll start there. We'll do all the heavy things downstairs. Then we'll go upstairs for all the smaller things. And by the end of it, you know, if she's chosen a blue sofa, then we've taken her to the cushion room and she's chosen a few pops of colour from the cushion room, and then to the artwork and lamps room. So at the end of it all, she's got just like a little dream home.
I'm looking forward to seeing all of this. I think it'll be absolutely fabulous.
Yes.
And you will get to see some of this as well. So,
fantastic.
yeah, it's quite exciting really when you think about how we as the average person on the street,
The lucky people.
can go and do something purposeful for someone who has nothing.
There's so many ways, and it might even be an hour a fortnight or, 3 hours a week or whatever, but everything that any of our volunteers does impacts someone, and it's fantastic.
It's that ripple effect.
Sure is.
Absolutely. What would you like to say to the viewers, Susie, about RIMERN and if they're homeless or they're
Right. Yep.
in a situation which they don't know where to go or who to ask or actually who to trust?
Exactly. Look, we are not frontline responders. All of our clients have to come to us as a referral. So they come through people like Launch Housing, Sacred Heart Mission, so many agencies. If you check our website, there's a whole lot of logos of agencies that we work through, and also our 22 member Rotary clubs, they can also sponsor people. What we can't do is people who contact us directly going, look, my fridge just died or I need a new TV or something. We just don't have the resources to support people who are self-referred. We'd like to help everyone, but we just have to ration the stuff, So if they're struggling, maybe contact one of these agencies that they
Launch
can find
House
off.
or-
Launch Housing, or even their local church or their local council can probably point them in the right direction.
Refer them on to where.
And there's different agencies support different people. For example, while we don't know people's story, we know that if a client's coming through Jesuit social services, it's usually a man just being released from jail. Mm-hmm. If people are coming from Frontline or Front Yard, it's usually a young person in the CBD. Sacred Heart Mission has a very broad scope of people because they've got a program for women. They've got all sorts of different programs. So that's another good one. They've got a lot of different hats. Launch Housing have got a number of different offices. I know they've got one in St Kilda, one in Collingwood, and there's, places like that. If you just go in the door, tell them your situation and see what help's available.
You could even go to your local council. You could go to the library. They could have some resources there for information to find out, or you could use the library to do some research if you don't have your own computer or phone or something like that. So there's ways and means that you can find out that doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do is have, and I'm going to use the word bravery, be brave enough to ask for help.
Yes.
Don't sit back and not ask for help, because if you need help, you need help. So find someone that you can ask and then ask them and they'll steer you in the right direction.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good first step.
Absolutely. I'm Faye and this has been Conversations with Faye. If you want to know more about RIMERN, it's Rotary run and it supports people who come from homelessness, domestic violence. They might come from jail, or they might be refugees and those sorts of people. If you're one of those and you're finding it hard, find someone that you can ask and they'll steer you in the right direction, and you'll find those people that you can trust to help you. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back next week with another conversation. It's bye from me for now. Just hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram. Changing lives, one conversation at a time.